studying in Sweden. We have a few people coming in still, so yeah, please just fill up the seats. My name is Gustav Dahlin. I work at the Swedish Embassy here in Jakarta, and this is...
My name is Ilham Suryaldianto. You can call me Ilham, and I'm an alumni from the University in Sweden. I took masters in corporate finance. So that's...
Yes, and we are here to tell you, we're trying to convince you to go study in Sweden. That's really our purpose here. We only have 25 minutes to do this presentation. We will try to leave some room for questions and answers. We don't know if we'll be able to do that. It tends to just go very quickly. And then we have our dear colleagues from Spain who's coming in afterwards, so we can't run over. But our main message, other than you want to go to study in Sweden, is that if you want to learn even more than from this presentation, go and see our booth inside. There's a Study in Sweden booth, and then there are 7 or 8
from Swedish universities in Sweden. You can also visit the campus individually as well. So yeah, you can do it if you have other questions that we cannot attend to.
Yes, so we'll try to give you a sort of a hint, a piece of cake, so to speak, about what it is to study in Sweden, and for your follow-up questions, knowing more about the details of the universities, please go inside and see the people there, and they'll be able to answer everything. But if we have time, we'll do some questions and answers here. But we just want to go through, yes, starting with the basics about this strange country in the north of Sweden that we represent, where I am from, and where you went to study. And the message we want to give here is that to go and study abroad is really a life-changing experience and something you should really do. Since you're here, you already know that and you want to do that. And we're going to try to convince you that studying in Sweden is that life-changing experience that you want and need. Was it a life-changing experience for you to go to Sweden?
It is a very life-changing experience, and I think more people should feel the kind of feeling living in Sweden, studying, and then living the Swedish way, I guess. So it's a particular country that not many people are aware of studying, I guess. But I think right now a lot of enthusiastic questions coming in that people should know more about studying in Sweden.
I agree. I also studied in Sweden, but that's also because I am from Sweden, so it was an easy choice. But just the basics then of this country of ours, located up in the north of Europe, almost on the other side of the planet compared to Indonesia. Again, compared to Indonesia, not very big. Now we're above 10 million people in Sweden. But what's that? A quarter of Jakarta in terms of population. No, we're very, very small. But if you take the map of Sweden and sort of twist it around and turn it on Southeast Asia, you'd see that it represents about the size of Sumatra. So geographically, it's actually a relatively big country, but with that size of the geography and that small size of the population, of course, you got a lot of space for yourself if you're in Sweden, and that also gives room for a lot of nature reserves. Swedes love the nature, being out in nature, and of course also our 39 outstanding universities, a few of which you can meet out here in the exhibition. This is an important point. English is all you need. If you want to go to study in Sweden, you don't have to worry about learning Swedish. And it's a quite difficult language as well. So you'll be fine just knowing English. All of these universities offer a variety of programs taught in English. Everyone, or at least almost everyone in Sweden, knows English very well. You'll be fine just speaking English to everyone. It's a society that works very well in English. Or am I right?
It is very correct. So during my time there was all of my classes were taught in English, and basically if you do have the chance to learn Swedish, even for free for certain students, not certain, but in certain particular situation. But yeah, mostly daily activities in class, but we do use English, but daily outside of class, going to a supermarket, I think it's not wrong to learn the language as well, and they very keenly open for you to learn their language. But yeah, if you want to go to Sweden to study, English is really all you need.
It is all you need, but don't forget to try and learn some Swedish, because just as I have learned here, learning a little Bahasa Indonesia gets you a long way. People appreciate when you try it, and in some situations, when you really need to get the taxi driver to where you want to go, it's good to know the basics. But again, do it more for the fun, the experience. You don't need it to actually complete your studies. So, studying in Sweden, what's it like? Over to you.
Over to me. I think because you also study in Sweden, so you can chime in as well.
Yeah, but it's a long time ago, like 100 years ago that I studied.
Okay, so about studying in Sweden, what can we see right now? So, Sweden is home to many world-class universities. A lot of them are in the top 100 ranks of university in the world. So, we have a lot of bachelor programs for 3 years of full-time study. I think that's good for high school graduates that want to study in Sweden early on and then took a bachelor's program. So we have those master programs, over 1,000 programs. We have 1-year programs and 2-year programs. For me, I am a 1-year master's program in Lund University. And then if you want to find more about the programs, the campus, Sweden have a really good website. And that is particularly the same website that you will use if you apply to universities in Sweden. It's studiinsweden.se, and also you can also open universityadmissions.se as well. So they have a lot of information, and for me particularly it's quite easy to understand and quite easy to just find information that you need for documents and campus requirements as well.
Yeah, so really that's your go-to source of information. Write down that address, studiinsweden.se. That will lead you to everything you need to know. So if you forget everything that we say up here today, and you probably will, just remember that one homepage.
So next, what are some of our popular programs? So as you can see, we have biotech, business, design, engineering, international relations, IT, life science, human rights, and sustainability. And I don't think mostly probably people wouldn't know that Sweden is one of the most forefront of sustainable science. Our campus is mostly research focusing on sustainability development. You can also have other courses that correlates with, like if you study economics, sustainability economics, or industrial sustainability. We have many programs that could really help your career, and also it also helps your vision, that you can see that okay, you probably don't have a lot of sustainable programs here in Indonesia, but if you want to find a particular future, your career that could define a difference in the world, we have a lot of those that could help you for your career. And most particularly in my campus in Lund is that our programs is mostly sustainability related, but we also do a lot of research. Lund is one of the top research campus in the world. So if you want to do research, if you want to have a career in banking, we have campuses for that. It's in Stockholm, it's in Lund, it's in Göteborg. Is it correct?
Yeah, Göteborg.
Yeah, Göteborg, yeah. And yeah, you have a lot of options that you can see, and again, in studiinsweden.se or university admissions. Do you have anything to add?
No, you said it all.
Okay. And where can you study? See, as I present, this is the map of Sweden. They do have a particularly large area of land. So, and it's very well connected. For the south of Sweden is mostly for Lund, Malmö, we have World Maritime University for marine programs, and also Stockholm is near in a bit not so north, but in the middle of the island. So I think this is more kindly to you. What do you think?
Well, I think, as you see, most of the the cities with universities are in the south of Sweden, concentrated really there. I'm from Stockholm. I tend to want to think that Stockholm is like in the middle of the country, but we're also south. And it reflects, of course, where people live in the country. The further north you go, the less people, the less nature. But this may be interesting to you. The more different from Indonesia, of course, if you go to study up in Kiruna, there in the far north, that's like the most different place on earth in Indonesia that you can find. So if you're looking for a very, very different experience, look to Kiruna. Yeah.
It's minus 22 sometimes, so.
And there we have a space station as well, so that might be cool if you're interested in that.
Yeah. Okay, so next. Yeah, this is what I said, super simple application process for campus. You apply online in universityadmissions.se. You can choose to 4 master programs. You order them based on what you really want and then what your backup plan is. You can apply to more than one campus, or you plan on to studying in one campus. You can just put in as well 4 programs in the campus that you're interested in. And then the application deadline is January. Before that, you can see that in the universityadmissions.se. It's a very comprehensive website. This is where you will also apply. They have listed all of the documents you need and also the examples of how to correctly submit your documents. So you won't get lost, and they will also help if you have any documents that you need to submit more to gather further detail. They are very helpful. And then mid-January is the deadline. March or April, you will receive your admission results. It's a good time. If you got accepted in a Swedish university, you can also just apply for your permit to study in Sweden. And then our academic year starts in late August, but we also have sometimes other campus starting it started in January, if I remember this. So it's late, almost fall semesters, they say. And then they also have a spring program for exchange student as well. So that's what I can add.
Yeah, just to add to this timeline, which is simple and very easy to follow. One more step here in between the March, April, and late August is, of course, that once you've gotten admitted to a Swedish university and you've gotten your scholarship and all that, you need to apply to get a residence permit in Sweden, which you do with us at the Swedish Embassy in Jakarta. We try to help you a lot with this. It is very, very important for us that people go to Sweden and to study, and we want you to have a good experience. We want you to get there on time. But the residence permit process also takes a bit of time, and it's not only up to you because you need to get your admission, you need to get your pay the scholarship and all that. But please try to apply as early as you can, so that you can be there in late August and also do sort of the extracurricular stuff that usually happens a week or two in before the studies start, and which are an important part of the studying experience. So just try to be as on time as you can with all this administration stuff.
To add also, applications are already open for some campus. You can already check to the university admissions and you can find a preferred program as well. And next, again, this is English, the requirement for English. IELTS, it's basic stuff, 6.5, don't have anything below 5.5. I do recommend IELTS. They usually ask for supported documents for if you use a TOEFL base. But IELTS is the way to go if you want to submit your documents, and it's already internationally accepted. Okay, next, tuition fee. So, per my experience, I do felt that tuition fees in Sweden are generally less expensive, if I could say. So it's less expensive for other European countries, for 1-year program or 2-year programs. Also, we also have scholarships as well from Sweden or from Indonesia as well. And if you're an EU or citizens, and which probably are not here, you don't pay tuition fees. You do not pay tuition fees, right?
No, as a Swedish student, it's free to study in Sweden, which is why people like me spend way too much time in university and never leave, because you can just study whatever you want.
Okay, next. Finding your scholarship. So we do have one from the Swedish government. It's the Swedish Institute Scholarship for Global Professionals. It covers living expense, tuition fees, and also your plane ticket when you arrive and then when you return back to your home country. And then university scholarships are sometimes offered by their campus by itself, like Lund, Uppsala, Stockholm. They all offer university scholarships. They have them in 50% covered tuition or even 100% if you qualify for their requirements. And then we also support LPDP as well from the Indonesian government. And then for exchange students, we offer ISMA as well. And we also have one more scholarships that we haven't put here. It's women in STEM, because Sweden is very known for their engineering, and then we have brands such as Volvo, Scania, which really works in the industry. And those we can have more information in our booth as well regarding that scholarship. But for women as well, because we really support diversity and inclusion as well, they provide women in STEM scholarship as well. So you can ask more in our booth, and if there's time for any question, you can ask more. Now, live and learn. Yeah, this. Okay, classroom the Swedish way. I think this. Do you want to share your experience first?
No, you go first. Share
Okay.
your experience.
So first name only. We don't maybe in here we say pa or bu, but I never really address my lecturers like that. If his name is, let's say, Gustav, I just call him Gustav. It's the way that we respect each other. Like it's the way that everyone in the classroom is equal. It's a very it's to cover the class that everyone is learning. There's one that teaching, but it's just to support the environment that there's no structure in the classroom. So it's a very supportive environment as well.
Yeah, I think where it comes from is that the idea of equality, right? Like in the classroom, sure, your professor hopefully knows more than you about the subject, but it's not like you were there just to receive whatever he's telling you. You're there to learn, and also learn through challenging and criticizing and asking about whatever you are taught. So it reflects a very equal setting in that sense in the classroom.
Question everything. I can say that studying in a Swedish university comes with its own challenge. It's either the weather's too cold, it's either the studies are too hard, but there's nothing wrong in questioning everything. I always ask my lecturers if I found any hardships in my class, and I never got rejected for any questions. Everyone is very supportive, everyone is very helping, and they want you to succeed. There's always a sense of they're always motivating you. They will help you how they can, and they will assure that you will not struggle in the classroom as well. Focus on learning and not punishing failure. We do have, people have suffered failure, but sometimes people punish themselves too hard. In Sweden, studying, you will find your struggles, you will find some failures, you feel that you should receive a higher grade, but it's not how it works there. You always try to improve yourself, the lecturers want yourself to be improved as well. It's a really different environment, studying Indonesia and in Sweden. It's a very supportive environment, so again, focus on learning. It's for the best. You will find the struggles, but that's learning the Swedish way, I guess. That's what I learned. I think that.
No, you put it perfectly.
Okay, living the Swedish way now. This is particularly Gustav.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah, we have 5 minutes left, so we'll have to do this quickly. But yes, as we have already touched upon, equality is very, very important for us in Sweden, and it manifests itself in many ways. We have almost half of our government ministers being women. 480 days of parental leave. I think that's a world record. Very few can compare themselves with that. And there we reserve 3 months for each parent. So encouraging fathers to take at least 3 months, and preferably half of those days for the father. And we're gradually moving towards that. Number 1 in the European Union Gender Equality Index, and a very strong popular support, 98% for these efforts in Sweden. And the environment, climate is very important. We try to be a very, very sustainable society. You will find that recycling in Sweden is almost like a national sport or a ritual or something. Every weekend people will go on pilgrimage from their homes to these recycling stations with the big green cans that you found out, and then you sort the plastic and the paper and the metal and whatnot. It's an incredibly important part of our society. And for a good reason. I mean, we have a lot of nature that we appreciate and that we know we need and that we want to take care of. But which you also, when you live in Sweden, have a right to be in and roam through. We have something we call the allemansrätten, the right to roam, where everyone is free to be out in nature and to enjoy it. And of course, a lot of renewable energy as well. Yes, more unicorns, less uniforms. A lot of world-renowned companies come from Sweden. I'm sure you're aware of IKEA, H&M, Spotify, Ericsson, Volvo, Scania, the list goes on and on and on. And I, as a Stockholmer, of course, very proud of the fact that Stockholm produces the most unicorns per capita in the world after Silicon Valley. And at the same time, we want to balance that with a good work-life balance. So less than 1% of workers put more than 50 hours a week on work. And by law, you have at least 25 days of paid vacation days. So in Sweden, we try and work hard and play hard. We want to do our jobs well, but when we don't work, we also want to enjoy life outside of that.
This is finally, if you already graduated from a Swedish university, the embassy and the Swedish Institute, scholarship for internships at Swedish companies in Indonesia. After you graduate, you have the chance to take an internship in Swedish companies in Indonesia. It can help your vision of your career. It can also, it's your chance to go back to the working life and then implement what you learned in Sweden. And it's a really good program. I am also in that program as well. I'm currently interning at Volvo Cars. And it's a very good program endorsed by the Embassy of Indonesia and the Swedish Institute in Sweden.
Yes, and this is a brand new project that the Swedish Institute is running, and it reflects our wish that not only you will go to Sweden and study, but that after your studies, maybe you'll stay in Sweden. A lot of people tend to find wives and husbands over there. Or you come back, but you continue to be part of our Swedish family, either through the alumni network, or you go to do an internship or even start working for a Swedish company here. And that's how we try to grow our Swedish family in Indonesia. And finally, I think we're keeping time here actually. Again, the most important website, studieinsweden.se. You can also find more information through us at the embassy in abroad.se #or/Jakarta, or start following us on Instagram, Sweden Jakarta. There you will find a lot more information throughout the year also about different opportunities, so please follow us. Follow PPI Swedia, the organization for Indonesian students in Sweden, and of course Alumni Swedia, our alumni organization here in Sweden. So a lot of information, a lot of support structures out there for you to learn more about studying in Sweden and then becoming part of our Swedish family in Indonesia. I think that's the end of our presentation, yes, and I think we actually made it on time. No more time for questions, I'm sorry, but please, find us. We'll move over there to make room for our Spanish friends. But then we also have our booths inside, both for Study in Sweden and for Universitas. So just thank you so much for coming and listening. Terima kasih.